Hi everyone, this is Bella from Unlock Your Design. It's time for the daily Jinky horoscope for January 6th. In the evening at 6:09 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have a full moon in Cancer. A full moon is when the moon and the sun are opposite each other, so the sun will be in Capricorn. We can see that we're starting a new cycle. The chart you have in front of you is the morning of January 6th. It's a 1-3 profile. We're going to have 6 days where the main archetype is the 54. The sun is going to go through all the lines, and we're going to have all the profiles from the 1-3 all the way up to the 6-3. The two archetypes that are programming partners, the sun and the earth, is the 54 and the 53. The 54 goes from the shadow of greed to the city of ascension, and the pathway is the pathway of aspiration. The 53 goes from immaturity to superabundance, and the pathway is expansion. In a low frequency, the 53 and the 54 rely on old power structures, old ways of making money, old ways of maintaining power, old ways of climbing the ladder of society, old ways of competing instead of collaborating. When we are stuck in the low frequency, we perpetuate that. And then it's going to be a big gap between the few people that have a lot of money and the many people that don't have enough. In a higher frequency, there isn't necessarily competition. A lot of what's changing right now with Pluto and the last degrees of Capricorn is that the old structures of society are being broken down, and there's a new way of coming together as a collective and as tribes and living. So a lot of this is changing, and if we are attached to the old power structures, it's not going to work. It's safer to rely on your frequency than to rely on a lot of money on the bank or a position in society that you feel is safe, because everything is going to change. So really what we can do is to ground in a higher frequency. So whatever happens, we're going to be able to respond to that, because we're all the time in orientation, in intuition, in the moment present. We are in a 1-3 profile, which is all about self-empowerment, your own creativity. Important to anchor into that in the beginning of the day, so that when the full moon comes in the evening, which is going to be an emotional full moon, we feel that we're stable, centered, anchored. The people that are with you this day, make sure that as much as you can is going to be win-win relationships, win-win interactions. We have the 57 and the 51 in the purpose and in the radiance, which is agitation and unease in the low frequency. Here I go back to the 53 and the 54. If you're attached to the old structures, definitely it's telling you it's not going to be comfortable. Here, a lot of it is to accept the new that wants to come in. And in the IQ, we see the 41, the originator, the anticipation of the new. And already we can see this in the attraction sphere. When it comes to others, we have the 27s, which is about selfishness or self-sacrifice. Because we have a full moon in Cancer coming in, I feel that's one of the themes that we are going to need to look at. Are you giving with both hands in such a way that you're self-sacrificing? Or are you feeling that you need to hold on to because the world isn't safe? These are things that are going to be illuminated with Cancer. So let's go to the full moon chart and see what the full moon has for us. Here we see the 53 and the 54 again in the astrological wheel, where the moon and the earth are in the 53 in Cancer, Mercury and the sun is in the 54 in Capricorn. This opposition is what creates the full moon. The moon is home in Cancer for this first full moon of the year. Cancer is the 4th sign of the zodiac. It's cardinal water. It has to do with emotions. It has to do with our roots. It has to do with our past. It has to do with mothering qualities, with nurturing. All these are things that are going to be alive in the full moon and a few days to come. When the moon is accentuated and home in this way, it's going to be emotional. Mercury retrograde is a possibility for reevaluation. Looking at the past, looking at emotional patterns or blockages that are there, and being able to work through them. The full moon is a culmination. It's when we are ready to let go of something. Something is mature to be seen and to be released. So what's there in those areas that you're ready to let go of, that you're ready to see and go beyond? As you're clearing out some of these themes that can have been with you for a long time, intuition is going to come through and be much stronger, so that as you're working this full moon, you are creating more space for your intuition to become a compass. In Capricorn, we're tying some loose ends when it comes to the foundation we need for moving forward. And in Cancer, with the full moon, we get to work on the emotional aspect, to not hold a lot of baggage, a lot of attachment to the past as we're moving into the new. So it's a perfect opportunity, this full moon, to be prepared for where we're going. And with the square to Aries, you can see here Chiron at 21 asking us to step into true authority and saying it's forward, we're going. We also have Jupiter here in Aries having that impulse to move forward, as we have done the important work here in the beginning of January to be ready for the 22nd when the Rave New Year starts. Here you see the full moon from a Jinky perspective. It's a 2-4 profile. The second line is unaware of itself, and it needs the mirror of the other. The moon has to do with reflection as well. The first reflection is our primary caregiver, often our mom. We come out from the womb, we have that reflection. And there is a theme here with the second line that says, in this full moon, even if it's your own emotional work, there is possibly going to be somebody there in your life that's going to act like a mirror. And then you can get to know yourself better, especially in those emotional patterns that you're ready to move through, go beyond. So if you feel triggered or penetrated here in the cross of penetration, or provoked by the other, see that as an opportunity to go deeper into your own emotions and become aware of something that is ready to change, ready to go. With the fourth line, the radiance and the purpose, it's an opportunity to look back at the past month and see who were your allies, who was around you that allowed you to expand, that allowed you to feel soft, that allowed you to breathe, and who has been around you that made you close in, that made you feel agitated, made you feel unease. The second line wants reciprocity, wants mirroring, wants to see eye to eye with the other. Is there balance on what is given and what's taken? The fourth line as well, it's all about that reciprocity, about being in trust with each other, about counting on each other. So with this Cancer moon, you want to see where you are in most of your relationships. Are you the giver all the time, or are you the taker? Looking at that, you don't want to be too selfish. You don't want to be too selfless. You want to have this balance in giving and taking. With the 57 in the SQ, which is the same as we have in the radiance, when you're not in balance, you're going to feel unease. And that is going to color a lot of your experience. This goes back to what we said before about intuition. When that's there, it becomes a kind of veil or fog, and you can't really even feel your intuition. It's going to be important to create more of a balance. It starts with you nourishing yourself first. When we have a 2-4 profile, what Richard Rudd says in the second line, in the evolution sphere, he says, fulfill yourself first. That is how you break out of disappointment. So we want to come back to our self-nourishment, our self-nurturing. And from that place, it's going to be easier to feel into who is our true allies, with whom can we dance in a way that is natural. The attraction sphere is in Taurus. What we are guided to do if the emotions become really strong is to come back to the body. Taurus is the body. Come back to the senses. Maybe take a warm bath, do something so that your body feels really nourished. Also with the fourth line, the heart, anything that has to do with the chest and opening the chest, breathing, maybe some essential oils that are helping you to open. You can really trust your body and your heart during this full moon to bring you back into more groundedness, more stability. and bring you back to the intuition that lives in your body. Last thing, looking at the body graph, there are no black channels, only black hanging gates. Current activations, this is a reflector chart. It's a white chart. A lot of energy is going to be filtered through. This means that there can be an intensity in the emotions, in the energy. I say again, anchor back into the body, into the breath, into the heart, and let it move through. In short, this is a full moon that gives us the opportunity to look and feel into our emotions. Is there any baggage that we don't need anymore? Is there anything from the past that can be released? As we're doing that, it's an opportunity for us to feel into our intuition. An ally in this full moon is our body, our heart, pampering ourselves, nurturing ourselves, fulfilling ourselves first before we go out and try to take care of anybody else. I wish you a happy full moon with a lot of release, a lot of nurturing, and your most powerful allies there with you. I'll be back tomorrow with a weekend horoscope. Bye for now.